Good morning, everyone. I'm Elizabeth McLain, and I'm going to walk you through the beginning part of this. I do want to acknowledge a few things on our first slide, that we have received funding from the Mellon Foundation, the Institute for Creativity, Arts, and Technology at Virginia Tech, and the College for Architecture, Arts, and Design, also at Virginia Tech. So our plan for today, we are going to start with a brief access check-in. I just want to give everybody time to let us know if there are any issues, and some introductions. And then I want to talk to you about Open the Gates Gaming, our values, and our mission. And then we are going to try to spend the bulk of this session playing and showing you how our tools work. So we're going to use this main room for a demo. My team will be kind of playing the role of the characters. I'll join as a character. Chris is going to run the game for us, but we'll make sure that you have access to the tools we've developed so you can kind of follow along, and then you'll have something to be able to take home and hopefully use. So yes, just a quick check-in. Any accessibility needs that we can meet, or any other barriers to being fully included. You can use the chat, let us know in whatever way is comfortable for you, because we do have a plan for what we want to do today, but making sure that you're comfortable and included come first. Very glad we have a team here to support that. So yeah, Open the Gates. Open the Gates Gaming is focused on access and inclusion in tabletop role-playing games. I won't get into an intense biographical detail because we have bios on the lovely site for the Including Disability Global Summit. But I'm a musicologist and also director of disability studies at Virginia Tech. And our team includes a lot of people who are involved in music and the performing arts, but also engineering and a wide variety of disciplines. Actually, do each of you want to say hi for a moment? I'll call on you so that it's a little less chaotic. So yeah, I'm Elizabeth McLain. I'm a white woman with shoulder length blonde hair that's tied up right now, and glasses, in my mid 30s, late 30s. Don't even remember at this point. Chris.
Hi, everyone. My name is Chris Campobowen. He, him pronouns. I'm a Latino man in my late 30s. I have shoulder-length brown hair, which is down at the moment. I'm wearing a blue shirt, and I'm going to be the running the game, DMing, as we sometimes say, which stands for Dungeon Master in D&D parlance. Thanks.
Scott.
Hi all, I'm Scott Hannenberg. I'm also he, him pronouns. I'm a white man, also in his late 30s, a bit shorter hair, and a great big chin. I'm going to be playing one of the characters, and I will be running a druid, so a magic user who has a connection to the land in today's adventure.
Atlas.
Hi, my name is Atlas Vernier. I use they, them, or he, him pronouns. I am a systems engineer by trade, and I will be running a rogue today. I am a PhD student in my mid-20s with short brown hair.
And Gustavo.
Hi, I'm Gustavo Raos, he, him. I'm a Latino man. I have a beard. I have not a lot of hair, and I'm in my 40s, unspecified. And I'll be playing a warlock.
I love this. This is a very fascinating party. So yeah, first I want to talk to you a little bit about our core values. We believe that everyone is a storyteller. The problem is not everyone gets to tell their story. Stories that are told even in fantasy spaces, but others do still center, cishet white men who are more or less able-bodied and neurotypical and thinking of, stories coming from this imagined version of medieval Europe. We are here to try to make sure that more people get to tell their stories and a wider variety of stories. Secondly, we believe that play is a human right, and not everyone gets to play. I think about how those of us who are on any sort of disability benefits, for example, worry about posting on social media that we're having a good time or happy, because that can be used against us, right? A lot of us disabled folks are supposed to be miserable and just focused on our own survival, and we're here to push back against that. Next, we believe that systems have to be flexible to be accessible. So universal design is a great aspiration, but in reality, it's very difficult to design one thing that fits everyone. So we're trying to design multiple systems, multiple ways of interacting with this activity, Dungeons and Dragons, and other related ones, so that everyone can find their way into the game. Fourth, we believe that there is more than just one hero's journey. Not trying to dig too hard on Joseph Campbell here, but we want to help you find your hero and your version of being heroic. And then lastly, and perhaps most importantly, we look to those most impacted for leadership. So from the very beginning, both what we are doing, what problems we're trying to solve, and also how we try to solve them, we want to do with the disability community. A number of us are members of the disability community, but we're also trying to reach out pretty consistently to folks with a wide variety of bodies and minds and experiences, so that the people that are most impacted by the exclusion in this hobby are the ones that are helping us find our way through to create something that will really make them feel included. So opening the gates, it's fun. Every time I think about our name, I remember when Scott pointed out that "open the gates" is this phrase that is said in almost every heroic fantasy movie at some point. But we are focused on inclusion and access broadly construed. The idea behind this is that each one of my team members has an identity where we felt like we kind of had to sneak in to the inside, both into academia, but also into tabletop role-playing games. And now we are trying to kick open the gates from the inside to let more people in. So we're focused on inclusion and access broadly construed. And this includes a lot of different things. We're going to show you the cognitive access tools today, but I should also mention that Chris leads a part of this project focused on adventures about operas, which is another way of taking something elite and letting people access it, get inside it, question a lot of the sexism and subtler colonialism and all of that inherent in it. So some examples of those include Tosca, which is an opera from 1900, Lucia de Lammermoor from 1835, and L'Orfeo from 1609. In the picture in this slide, you can see us playing Tosca. Chris is behind the DM screen, making quite an interesting expression. I don't know, Chris, what emotion would you describe that as?
Slightly delighted exasperation.
That's your default state at the table when we have hijinks. And then one of the friends of OTG, Alice Rogers, who's a white woman with red curly hair, is laughing, having just made Chris's job a little bit more difficult, if I remember correctly. But our larger network includes the Cleveland Institute of Music, Berklee College of Music, UT Austin down in Texas, and also the 501c3 nonprofit Dots RPG, the creators of Braille Dice, and PAX Together. We also want to make sure we mention our advisory board member, Doug Cockle. So although he's known best as the voice actor for Geralt of Rivia in the Witcher video games, he also is an active performer in Dungeons and Dragons actual play with the Natural Six. So when it comes to designing access, again, we want to center community-driven research. What does our local community need, and how can that community lead? This project emerged as a direct response to our local disability community wanting to play Dungeons and Dragons with their non-disabled friends during the pandemic. So we've developed some cognitive access tools. Pictured on this slide are the two sides of our decision guide and some of our spell cards. But we also have a class selector, a character sheet, some ability cards, and explainer videos. What we want to do is demonstrate how these work for you, but a little bit about kind of what Dungeons and Dragons is in general. I love that we've got Scott and Gustavo playing D&D on this slide. Y'all always make me happy. Dungeons and Dragons is a collaborative storytelling game. So it's typically played with around 4 to 6 players and then someone running the story. And that person is often called the Dungeon Master or the Game Master, which can be abbreviated as DM or GM, as Chris mentioned earlier. The object of this game is to have fun and to co-create a story with your friends. D&D is going to draw on different kinds of tabletop games and different narrative genres, especially high fantasy, but I've seen everything from sci-fi to the Golden Girls. The game includes 3 pillars of play. Exploration, which is where you get to look around an environment and interact with the objects in it. Social interaction or role-playing. Chris is going to embody what we call non-player characters, but other people, creatures, entities that live in this environment, and as players we'll get to interact with that. And then lastly, combat, where, you know, we might have to fight some monsters. It's worth noting that you don't really win or lose D&D, but you can certainly win or lose while fighting a monster. That said, even if your character dies, you get to make another one and just start telling a new story with your friends. And on this slide, you can see a hand-painted minifigure, a meeple, that's MEEPLE for captioners. It's a little fun made-up game word. And also a 20-sided die that has our logo on it. And that's what we use to introduce an element of chance to the game. So let's play Dungeons and Dragons. This slide says there's 2 ways to participate, but what we're going to do is stay in the main room together. And with my team, we're going to demonstrate how these tools work. Our setting is the Moon Hollow Tavern. So on this slide, I have a picture of the Moon Hollow Tavern sign with a crescent moon, some cloud or mountain-like abstractions behind it, and 3 stars. One of them has an interesting jewel in it. Crew, should we demo, maybe one of us demonstrate the class selector tool? Not all of us.
Yeah, Elizabeth, do you want to demo that?
I can do that. If anyone else wants to talk, I will not be offended. Atlas, can you drop the link in chat so everyone can check it out? Oops.
I can make believe going through it, Elizabeth, if you want a break from talking.
Well, I will share it though. I'm going to stop sharing real quick so I can start sharing the right thing.
Great.
Now, this is a prototype. I should add that. Goodness. It's a prototype We're working on a an HTML version that's a little bit more accessible. But for now, we'll read the text that is on the slide. Does that work okay? That feels like it's a weird shape. I'll try to.
This is a slide with black text on a white background. Our logo is displayed in bright colors to the side of the page, and it reads, "Welcome, adventurer. Let's tell a story together. Take a moment, breathe deeply, imagine a hero. This hero may be just like you, brave, brilliant, sometimes unsure. Or maybe your hero is your polar opposite, and you'd like to try on a new identity." We'll scroll down to the next page, and it says, "How does this tool work? The following pages tell a story, but you will choose how your character might act. Click on a blue link for your choice. You will then be redirected to the next part of the story. Eventually, you will be given a recommendation for a class. This is kind of like a job in D&D, representing what your character is good at and what your character does in the fantasy world. When we recommend a class, we provide you with a summary of what it's like to play that class. The important part, you are the author of your story. The possibilities are endless, and the goal isn't to be the strongest or smartest or most powerful. Just because you're a rogue, that doesn't mean you have to steal from everyone. You can be a physically disabled fighter, a bard with stage fright, or a wizard with trouble remembering what you read. The goal is to tell a story with your friends, build community, and have fun together. So, when you're ready, let's learn who your hero is. We'll join them on a night on the town. So on the next page it says, "A night on the town. After a long and grueling journey, your party has completed their quest. It's time for a much-deserved night off. Your party emerges from the woods to see the glimmer of lights from the town in the valley below. You've been here before, and the locals often celebrate your triumphant return with a lively night at the Moon Hollow Tavern. You can hear raucous laughter, cheers." Now we have some choices. As party members disperse to enjoy the evening, what do? I can head into the tavern. I can decide to spend some time outside in nature instead. Or I can quietly excuse myself for a peaceful night of reading in my room at Gaspod's Inn. I'll choose the second option, spend some time in nature. That brings us to this page. The sounds of nature restore your soul as you locate a familiar ancient tree a short walk from Moon Hollow Tavern. You rest your back against its rough but welcoming bark, breathe in the fresh air, and feel the tension leave your body. Spending time outdoors, I have another decision to make. It can help me meditate and recenter myself. It might provide an opportunity to train and grow stronger. It might mean time to explore the local plants and wildlife, or it could remind me how much I prefer being inside. Here I'll take the third option, explore the local plants and wildlife. You're surrounded by life in its rich diversity. From the scent of wildflowers to the song of birds, your senses awaken joy. You are at home here, in what others might call the wilderness. You slowly rise, gently thanking the tree for its companionship. As your eyes adjust to the low light of the evening, you begin to explore. After a few moments, what do? I could locate herbs, moss, and other ingredients for my spells. I could find a gentle fox in the brush and draw on my magic to speak with the animal. We learn her name is Abby, and she spent the day lounging in the sunlight. I could search for my friend Mishka the bear. He owes me a wrestling match. Or I could examine the ground for tracks. The light of the full moon makes it a perfect night for hunting. Here I'll decide to talk to Mishka the bear. I'm interested in that wrestling match. And this takes me to the class that I've selected, Barbarian, Path of the Berserker. There are notes here about what to expect in social and exploration contexts, how I'll participate when combat should arise, and some information about players who like to play barbarians and players who might not get the most enjoyable game experience out of a barbarian. So I might read that through, see if it feels like it's resonating with me today. And if I don't feel like this is the best fit today, at the bottom it says begin again. And I can run through the same set of questions and scenarios to try and find a different class.
Thanks so much, Scott. And yeah, we've provided the link. You can use that. You can also find the link through our website, and we'll have the tools available for download on the website too. Atlas, are you good for sharing screen for the next
Yes, I am.
bit? Okay.
Oh, I don't know if that was the correct screen. So
It was.
Oh.
Were you showing the tools and the
Yes.
dice? Perfect.
Delightful.
So yeah, we have a series of cognitive access tools, and through a link in chat, you could pick, which one you want to check out. This is the decision guide that helps you when the dungeon master goes, "What do you want to do?" and your mind goes blank. So it prompts you for things that you could do or try, questions you can ask. The blue-green side is for exploring and social interaction, and the pink maroon side is more for combat. Those colors match the character sheets, so that most of what you would need to know as you're playing and talking to people or exploring an environment is on this blue, green, turquoise. I need to pick a color and stick with it, but that kind of color palette. And then the opposite side, which is pink with some maroon, has what you would need in combat. And this is the rogue character sheet. And then lastly, we have little cards that spell out different features and traits or magic spells that your character can use. So, and there's a dice roller to the side that's going to help us randomize things. I think the best thing to do is just demonstrate. Chris, do you want to take it away?
Absolutely. So we find our party of adventurers in a tavern. They've come back to the town of Squiremount after a series of no doubt exhilarating and dangerous adventures, and are now really ready, I think, for an evening of relaxation. And so they've gone to the Moon Hollow Tavern, one of the most popular taverns in this town. And they enter into this tavern. They find a cozy yet spacious interior with rustic wood accents. It's relatively crowded in here this evening, and there is a large knot of people off to the right side of this room. Tables are scattered around with chairs around them. People sit at the tables, they sit at the bar. A tall woman with short brown hair stands behind it, chatting with patrons, serving drinks. And a short, stocky man with dark brown skin and black hair moves around, chatting with patrons, serving drinks in the bar or in the tavern, and also looking around a bit, almost like he's maybe a bouncer on the side. But yeah, that is the environment we find our party in. And so I don't know if everyone wants to go around and describe what their character looks like, and then what they might want to do when presented with the tavern this evening. Maybe Elizabeth, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I think I'm playing Corey. So I am what's called a Goliath. I'm very tall. And Corey is a male barbarian. He's got grayish skin, bald head, and some facial tattoos and scars from combat, and a giant battle axe that he has on his back right now. If you were to look closely at his clothing, you'll probably see little, well, I don't know, probably large white hairs all over it from his polar bears. But he would kind of come in and grunt gruffly and be like, "Ugh, I really need a drink."
Scott.
So I'll be playing Oral Fanwood, who has been out in the woods for some years now. You can see, if you look closely, that the clothes that he wears were once relatively costly and from some sort of upper aristocratic class, but they're soiled so badly now that you can't really tell what colors they once were. Oral's also wearing a lot of animal pelts and skins, and has long, very matted hair. Looks like he has probably not bathed in certainly months.
As you enter the tavern, several patrons kind of wrinkle their noses slightly and look around, see you, and they're like, "Oh."
Indeed.
I don't think Corey even clocks that. Totally oblivious.
Atlas, would you like to describe your character?
Sure. So I am playing an elven rogue, whose name is Sirius, which elven rogue. And where one might expect an elf to kind of have this like the little expressive, like high standing energy. Sirius is much more like curled in, clothes a little rumpled, very tired, and just a little bit afraid as they kind of moves into this space.
Excellent. And then Gustavo, who are you playing?
I'm playing Ivar Klippen. They are tall, thin, pale, wearing a long, dark cloak, um, uh, moving quite slowly as if they're very exhausted, bags under the eyes, seemingly has not slept in ages. Um, so.
Excellent. Well, so you encounter a tavern, I believe some of you with to a greater or lesser degree of excitement. Those of you that are tired and or reticent, perhaps not enjoying this as much as those of you that are looking for a drink. But either way, you notice a few things. One, there is this largish crowd of people, probably 10 to 12 people, over to one side, gathered around something in front of the fireplace. And then a few patrons sit at the bar, others, at tables around kind of chatting. There is the bartender, a woman, and then the server, who is a man just kind of wandering, or not wandering around, but making the rounds of the bar. So, what do you want to do?
I guess I am wondering if there is a quieter spot that is kind of like on the edges of the action as an in-between place where I might be able to just sit and chill.
Yes. So as you look around, you see that actually, as you enter, the main bar is ahead of you. There is the knot of people is off to the right. The tables are kind of scattered around everywhere. If you look off to the left, you can see stairs that lead upstairs. To presumably some other rooms. But underneath those stairs is an open doorway that appears to lead into perhaps a kind of some other maybe more private room. And you could post up underneath those stairs and kind of have an eye on the whole tavern without having to be in the middle of it all.
That is exactly where I would like to go.
You can go and post up and do your mysterious rogue thing looking around the room.
So looking at the decision guide, I saw eat at the bottom of it. Corey had initially mentioned the drink, but getting in there and just kind of like smelling, I don't know, like a roast chicken or whatever they have cooking, his stomach rumbles to the point that it might, shake the ground a little bit.
Hmm.
So he's going to very awkwardly go up to whoever is behind the counter and
Right. So yes, so you approach the counter. There's a tall woman with kind of lighter skin, short brown hair, kind of in a bob, who is quite broad, but also clearly like athletic. And she, as you're walking up, as your stomach rumbles very loudly, she like looks around and notices you and kind of gives you a smile. And as you come up to the bar, she says, "Well, I could hear from here. It sounds like you're hungry. What can I get you?"
Okay, the way you described this person, Corey kind of very awkwardly looks her up and down, and his mind's completely blank. I just realized this is like the woman for Corey.
Okay.
So
Um,
he's not good at it, but he's gonna try to flirt. And I feel like his flirting would be like, that chicken smells good, and then try to wink.
Right. So you do that. The bartender looks at you. And okay, we're gonna do what's called a skill check now, which is basically a way of using random chance and a die to determine how well your character can do something. There are modifiers that you add to whatever you roll on the die to suggest, my character is better at perhaps noticing details versus, doing feats of strength. I will say, is she tall compared to Corey? I think Corey is what, like 7 feet tall?
Something like that.
She's like 6'5". Like she's quite tall, but she's still shorter than you.
So like petite for Corey, but
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. But
Yeah,
I
can
feel
you
like Corey thinks that, I mean, she could rough him up a bit. So,
yeah. Atlas, would you like to go to the character sheet, please, the skill side?
Or
Sure, let me pull up the barbarian sheet actually.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, so
There we
this
go.
oh,
is
there
Got it.
Atlas is on it.
perfect. Well, there you go. So yeah, so I would like you, Elizabeth, to roll for Corey insight, please, as
Oh,
you're trying to parse what the bartender is how they're reacting to your attempt at flirting.
so Corey is actually good at insight. I'm surprised. He has a +3 to it. Atlas, can you roll me a D20? We have a digital dice roller in here that'll give us a 6. 6
Three.
plus 3 is 9.
Nine,
So how's a
great.
9?
You think you're doing great. Um,
I'm doing great.
so the bartender he says, "Well, I can certainly get you some chicken. I'll go and see to that. And by the way, I don't know that I've seen you all in here before. My name's Mel. I'm the bartender. And while I go get that chicken, I should say tonight is our monthly frog race. And she gestures over toward the crowd, to her left, your right, and says, "There's always a tradition that newcomers get to help out with the races. And don't worry, I am in a former life, I was a paladin that was very devoted to the goddess of the moon, the natural world. Nobody messes with these frogs on my watch. So, but you should go and enjoy. And I'll go and get that chicken for you." And she
I
gives you a slightly like a look that you can't clock because you rolled a 9 on insight as she goes to check on the kitchen.
So I think Oral was probably, hanging with Quarry. If Quarry's hungry, Oral's probably hungry too. But hearing about these frogs, I think he's immediately distracted. Does Mel gesture to where that's happening?
Yeah, yeah, she gestures to the crowd that's over to the right side of the tavern. Um,
Nice. Yeah, Oral's going to sort of give Quarry a nudge. Did you hear that? We've got to go check this out.
Was that was she was that innuendo, or is there an actual
I I think they're racing frogs.
like actual that makes more sense.
Well, it doesn't make sense. I've never heard of anything like it, but I've got to see it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Corey will follow you a little bit in a daze.
so,
Are you
uh,
feeling
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Gustavo, seeing that your compatriots are heading over toward the frog race, or at least two of them, and Sirius is posted up underneath the stairs as they are wont to do. What are you up to?
Ivar has been standing behind the two at the bar, just kind of slowly building up resentment and irritation. He desperately needs a coffee or something. And so he will glance around, seeing that uh, she's gone off to get chicken, looking for anybody else who might be able to help him. Um, and then do I see anybody like a
Yeah, you can flag
like
down the
another
waiter who's kind of, moving
great.
around.
I will look at him and I will cast a message um uh uh at this person where this is a spell where I target one creature and I whisper a message that only the target can hear, and they reply in a whisper that only I can hear. And I will say, I need coffee. Um to this waiter.
Yeah. So you cast this spell. Everybody else is, I think, in the tavern is not really expecting that someone's just going to walk in there and start casting magic out of nowhere, so they don't actually really notice this. However, the waiter kind of like hears a message in his head and kind of like perks up and looks around, and then spots you looking all dour and dark and warlock adjacent, and is going to he sees you. He kind of like gives you like a bit of a questioning look, and then he nods. And he goes back behind the bar and starts fiddling with a kettle and some, you can tell it's like some coffee grounds and things. So he's gonna make you a coffee. But in the meantime, as Oral and Corey go over to the frog races. So now you go over to this area. You can see that there's a crowd gathered around a part of the floor on which someone has chalked some kind of um, some lines that let's say about maybe 10 feet long. There's 4 lanes, and you see arrayed there. Um, 4 frogs. And as you approach, one of the patrons pulls out a wand and waves it. And now each frog begins to glow in vibrant colors: red, blue, violet, and orange. And each has now been outfitted with a tiny costume. One wears a makeshift cape, another has suspenders, a third wears a stylish bow tie, and the fourth has a top hat perched jauntily on its head. And then the person that waves the wand comes up to you, and for the purpose of time, I'll just say they explain the rules of the race. The way that it works is that any one of the 4 of you can participate in one of 3 ways. One, you can coach a frog, and that is you can kind of encourage it to run the race, to hop to victory, with your expert kind of guidance. You can cheer on one of the coaches or slash the frog, or you can heckle one of the coaches slash a frog. And in these ways, potentially affect the outcome of the race. And this person also explains that if you should win, you will get free drinks for the rest of the night. Um,
So
s-
Oral loves, has a deep affinity for animals, definitely wants to take advantage of the chance to coach one of these frogs.
mhm. Okay,
Signs up right away.
great.
Oral, which one do you think is your greatest opponent?
Opponent. Um, I don't know. Can I tell from looking at the frogs how hale and healthy and formidable they look?
Sure, give me a perception check.
All right. Perception for my druid gets me a +3. I rolled an 11, so that's 14 on my perception check.
Sure, I'll say with a 14, you can tell like they all look relatively, I mean, they all look very well taken care of. Some of them look a little more keen than others. You see a certain determination in their froggy eyes. The one that is glowing red seems to be the most fired up. And the one that's violet seems to be a bit kind of like distracted looking around.
Okay. Um, uh, and do I get to choose which one I'm coaching?
Yes.
Awesome. So I'd like to ask if I can coach the frog that's glowing red.
You may. And so we'll get to that in a moment. Um, Quarry sounds like wants to heckle, perhaps.
I think it's more of like an intimidate, like just stand
Ah,
there, arms crossed, and just like stare. But
right.
yes, effectively heckle.
So like also like maybe like hype crew vibes potentially.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I'm with this one and you're gonna lose, but
Got
like
it.
with the face.
Okay, excellent.
Resting
Uh,
barbarian face.
um, let's see. Atlas, Gustavo, what do your characters want to do?
I
I'll
support. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you. I'll say Sirius has kind of just like appeared at the corner of Oral's vision, and will cheer, but it's not like, large enthusiastic cheering. It's like win, don't lose. You win.
All right, excellent. Very direct cheering, as in
Yes.
be better. Um, I love that. Gustavo?
Something about the aspect of the purple frog just really speaks to Ivar, and he will support that one. He's going to encourage it to victory. Probably using. I'm going to try and message the frog. Um, uh, uh, yeah, and I'm gonna and kind of intimidatingly be like, "You need to focus. You need to do this. Get your head in the
Okay.
game. It's time to shine."
So, so here's what's gonna happen. Um, I think Scott, Oral can roll animal handling with advantage because you have uh, Sirius, Atlas's character, just telling you to win. Um,
Get
and so you're
better.
going to coach the Red Frog. Uh, Elizabeth, I think with Quarry standing there, actually, can you give me a performance check to see
Yes, please.
how well you're doing this?
I have a +0 to performance.
Delightful.
Oh, but I rolled a 13, so it's a 13.
Okay, I will say that you are not. Um, your intimidating stance, I think, is going to mean that you are like effectively coaching one of the other frogs. So I'm going to have you roll animal handling kind of straight ahead in a moment. And Gustavo, with your kind of use of magic and effectively trying to bully this frog into doing better, you can also roll animal handling with advantage. So, Scott, animal handling with advantage. Gustavo, animal handling with advantage. Elizabeth, just animal handling. And then
rolling
let
with
me.
it, rolling with advantage, I roll 2 dice and take the higher number. I rolled a 3 and a 19, and our druid character has a +5 to animal handling, so that's 24.
Okay.
Uh, I rolled an 11 and a 12 with a +0 to animal handling. I, great
Okay.
with animals.
Yeah.
Corey's okay with animals, so 18 plus
Oh,
1
damn.
is a 19.
Dang. Okay. So, as you all gather yourselves and begin to, the man with the wand brings it down. There's a small shower of fireworks to start the race, and then the frogs are off hopping and croaking. And thanks to your expert or not so expert coaching, or your kind of inadvertent coaching, the frogs uh, come or race to the end of the um, course, and the red frog wins. The orange frog, that was the one most intimidated by Quarry, comes in second. The violet frog third, and the last one, the blue frog, uh, is a sadly fourth place finisher. However, as the blue frog comes across the finish line, it looks dejected for a moment, but then starts to look perplexed as light begins to swirl around it. Sparkles and flashes erupt as a glowing outline of a small dragon begins to grow around the frog, and it looks perplexed, but all of a sudden you cannot see it, and sparkling black scales coat the shape of this dragon, and it turns around to look at the four of you standing there, having just recently coached all these frogs, and it snarls as what looks like magical drops of acid drip from its teeth. And I need you all to roll initiative as this dragon is going to try to attack you. So what's happening now is we are transitioning into combat, which is a somewhat more structured aspect of playing D&D. Initiative is something that we use to track who moves when. And so we're going to give you just a very brief demonstration of what combat looks like, so you can see how some of the tools work. Okay. Did anybody get above a 20 on their initiative?
22.
Nice. Okay. Oral's going first. Excuse me. Anybody get 15 to 20? Okay. 10 to 15.
13 for Corey.
Okay. Oral, then Corey. 5 to 10.
Oh no.
Is that
Sorry, no, I'm lying.
0 to 5?
I rolled a natural 1 and I have a
Ooh.
+3 to my initiative.
Okay, so 4.
3.
Okay, wow. Okay, well, it's perfect because it's in. So right, so Oral, then Corey, then the dragon, then Atlas, then Gustavo. So Oral, what faced with this magical illusion of a dragon that seems to want to attack you, what do you want to do?
So this dragon looks quite frightening to me. I think what I want to do is try and prevent it from moving towards us very quickly. So I'm going to cast a spell on my list called Spike Growth. Looking at the card, it says the ground becomes difficult terrain, and when a creature moves in the area, it takes damage to travel. And if it didn't see the spell cast, it needs to make a check even to notice that the ground is going to give it trouble.
Okay. Yeah, so you wave your hands, you speak some words of power, and the wooden floor of this tavern suddenly erupts into giant splinters that poke up from the ground, and everybody that around is suddenly, freezes. But this dragon, which you're trying to kind of hide this from, oh, actually, no, it would have seen the spell cast, so it knows. But now, the whole floor of the tavern is quite spiky. Nice. Okay, Corey, what do you want to do?
So Corey, seeing the ground erupt in spikes, is pretty used to this maneuver. But he's really upset because he's like, where did the frog go? Did you eat the frog? Like, he's not real clear what's happening with the dragon. So he's gonna summon all of his strength and rage, and then he wants to jump so he's next to the thing. So he'll take that damage from that spell, but hopefully just like once as he lands in the.
Yeah, great. So yeah, you are able to jump using your immense strength and land. And as you land, you bring your axe down toward the dragon. So you can go ahead and give me an attack roll. Atlas, could you show the combat side?
Yes, let me actually pull up the
for
barbarian.
Yeah, so I'm gonna swing with my great axe.
There we go.
And I got an 11 plus 5, so that's 16.
Okay, so yes, that hits.
Atlas, can you roll me a d12?
I can.
Awesome. Okay, so I do 2 plus 3 slashing damage plus 2 more from my rage. So that's 7.
Right. So as you land, the splinters kind of stab into your boots and you take 3 piercing damage. But you are also able to bring this axe home and you manage to slash into what feels almost like a force field. But you clearly shatter some of this illusion, and magical sparks erupt as you hit. Right. It's the dragon. It's going to attempt to bite you since you're right next to it. Yeah. However, it rolled a 4 plus 4 is 8, so it misses as you handily dodge out of the way of its snapping jaws. Atlas, what do you want to do?
Okay, I see that I have a short bow.
No.
So I am going to roll to shoot. Just panic. Uh-oh. So that would be my D20. So 15 plus 5 to hit, which is 20.
That absolutely hits. Roll damage.
Delightful. 1d6 plus 3, so that'll be 5 damage.
Okay, yeah. So you are able to kind of wildly just like by reflex, reach into your quiver, pull an arrow, and let it go before you even realize what's happening. And then Gustavo, what is your choice in combat?
Um, Ivor's pretty irritated that he has not received his coffee, and he will Eldritch Blast this dragon because he imagines that that is the main impediment to receiving the coffee. 17 plus 5 is math 22.
22.
Absolutely hits. So yeah, roll damage.
And then oh, that's the wrong dice. 7. And a feature of my warlock is that he has a repelling blast, so it is pushed 10 feet. And if I recall, spike growth, for every 5 feet of movement through the spike growth, the creature would take 2d4 piercing damage.
Yeah.
So that would be 4d4 piercing damage
Wow.
on top of the 7 damage that I did to it.
So you
12.
you raise a hand and release this blast of energy, and between all of these attacks that hit it so quickly, and then it is rocketed backward, scraping across the spikes on the floor before it hits the wall, and all of this impact, this force is too much for it, and the illusion suddenly dissipates in a kind of flash of light and a cracking sound, almost like a shattering of glass. And then all of a sudden, a blue frog is sitting there looking very perplexed at what just happened. And we're going to end that and end our little encounter there because I think we only have a couple minutes left. So thank you.
Atlas, can you stop share and I'll show one more thing? We probably have time for like one question if someone has it in the chat, although we'll also put our website where you can contact us afterwards. So thank you for this demonstration. We want to let you know, just in case you're going to be in the Boston area, the next big thing we're doing will be at PAX East in May, from May 7th to 11th. We're going to be exhibiting in the PAX Together intersection and opening this new thing called the Access Forward Gaming Lounge with Dots RPG. So this is the first time that accessible gaming has been like intentionally brought to this big gaming convention. I'll be speaking on a couple panels on accessibility and tabletop role-playing games and video games, and then we'll also run 14 games, including some of those adventures we talked about before.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Thank you so much. This was enjoyable to listen to, and I think we got a lot of excitement in the chat about not just the story, but being able to interact with the story. So participants or attendees, Atlas has put their website in the chat. For those not using the chat, it's openthegatesgaming, all strung together.org. So please check that out. And again, thank you, team, for being part of Including Disability Global Summit this year.
Thank you for having us.